to the another very interesting and energetic lecture of DataFrame and series. In the previous lecture, we understand what are DataFrame and what are series. We understand that why we used to have a list in series and a dictionary in DataFrame. So before without wasting time in today's lecture, let's start with the 4 important topics that what we are trying to learn today. The first thing that we are going to learn is that how we will change the default indexing. If you have seen the previous lecture, this will not be the confusion to you that when we used to try to make the data frame or the series, what happens? For example, here is say A and here is say B. So these A and B are the 2 columns, right? Now we are just storing the data in A and B. The pandas automatically used to have the default indexing like 0 and 1, 0, 1 and many more further. So to stop that indexing and to have your own indexing, what should you do? So this is the first part. Then we are going to ingest the data which I make you download from the Kaggle website. That will be the CSV file, and what will be the CSV file, all we will discuss in the near future. Then we are going to have the inspection on that massive data set, that how would you inspect that whether the data is truly loaded or not. And finally we will look at the all over the workflow we have discussed throughout, right? So let's start. So my first and the most important thing which we are going to cover is that when we used to have a data space, right? Now let's have a data space, or I can say a data frame. So let me just show you some example. Let's say there is Bob, Sui, and so I have made a table. So let's say you have Bob and Sui, and Bob have some preference according to something. Let's say there are 2 products A and B. Let's say there are 2 products A and 2 products B. So Bob said that he liked product A, and Bob also said that it was awful, right? For product A he said that he liked it, and for product B he said that it was awful. Similarly, Sui said that for product A it is pretty good, and for product B it was bland, right? But we can't able to understand why the indexing over here, right? The default indexing are 0 and 1. So how would you understand that the Bob is talking about product A or the Sue is talking about product A or B? So that's why we want to change the indexing, and it would be great, right? If instead of 0 there is product A written over here, and instead of 1 there is product B written over here. Would you agree with me? Are we on the same table? Yes. So if there is product A written over here, then I can able to conclude that both Bob is telling that he liked it, and Sue is telling that it is pretty good for product A. Similarly, for product B they will say this. So let's write the code that how would this happen. So the magic keyword which used to come over here is indexing. Yes. So now remember each of the word which I am going to say right now. To change the data, right? I am also writing, sorry, not data, to change index while making the data frame we use the syntax index equals to, and in the braces come your, let's say, values, right? In the braces come your row values, means row index 1, and let's say row index 2. So this is the thing I want you to remember, right? This is the thing I want you to remember right now, that when you make the data frame and at the same second you want to change your row index, so you have to put it in this way, right? Being confusing? Let's say we want something like this, that product A and product B over here. What would you do? You would write index equals to, right, you would write index equals to product A comma product B. The thing over here is that you have to write it as many product names as many your values over here are. For example, here there is two values, right? Two rows, 0 and 1. So we have written two products, product A and product B. But if there are 100, so you have to write 100 product A, B, C, D, and again A, B, B, C, C, means you have to manage on that thing. So first of all, let me show you that how would you write it in our real code base. So let's move back, and so this is the collab. I want all of you people to open the collab, and what we are going to do is just simply make a data frame from our previous lecture, right? We know that we have to first of all import pandas to make the data frame, right? So let me import the pandas and let us run that. So it will take some time, and once the process got over, it will show the green tick like this. Okay, now after importing pandas, we know that we have to make the data frame, right? So let's start now making the data frame. So let's say pd dot, now because we are making data frame, so obviously we will write that word data frame in the braces. Now we in data frame, what we used to store? Dictionary. I am also revising you the previous class, so you can, if by chance you have not seen the previous lecture, you can continue from here also. That now the two braces are over here. Now in data frame we used to store dictionary. Why dictionary? That you have to look it in the previous lecture. So now in dictionary there is key value pair. So let's say in let me open that. Yeah, there is a column name Bob and a Sui, right? So that both column name are the attributes for us, and we know that we used to store attributes in a key format, right? So what I will do is I will write Bob, right? Bob, something like this. And we know that we are not going to write Bob again, right? Means if you are thinking that we will write Bob for product A one time and product B for another time, we are not going to do that. For once you declare this Bob, we are going to, 1 minute, yeah, once you declare this Bob, we are going to write all the values of it for product A, B, C, and no matter for what. So this is the whole thing. Okay, so let me write. Now to store many values, we used to have array. It's simple. So let's say the first value is I like it, right? And the second value is it was awful. Okay, now let's store the second value. The second value over here is Sui. Yes. Now let me store its value. So the first value is pretty good. Yes. And the second value over here is bland. Okay, so these are the two values which are stored over here. Now if I run this, so you can see the Bob is shown over here, and you see the default indexing. I am again repeating, can you see the default indexing 0 and 1 over here? We don't want it. We want 0 to be product A and 1 to be product B. So to do that, what I have taught you, now I want you to put your head on some minute details which I am showing over here. We are going to write that index, the new thing which we had learned right now, the index, right? We are going to write that index outside the dictionary, right? Because it is not the part of dictionary. We are indexing, which we are doing, is not something that we have to store values about, right? So we will do something like this: index equals to, Again, I am remembering the definition. This index, right? This index of changing the default values of default indexing is only done when you are making the data frame. In future, we will learn how to change indexing if it's already been written. That will come in the future video. So that's why I am making you very clarified on this thing, that this syntax of index we are running when we are making the data frame. So it will also be the list. So product A, and as there are two products, I have written product B. So this is the thing, and let me run. Oh, there is some syntax error, I think so. It's showing invalid syntax for data frame. Okay. Okay, so there must be comma, I think so. I have left the comma. Let me run it one more time. Yeah. So basically, because we are storing the new value in the same data frame, let me show you something like this. Yes. Oh, yep. So this is the one thing which we are storing over here, right? And this is the another thing, so we have to separate it by a comma. So remember this, to have new index we used to have the comma, and you will use index, this syntax, to change the index parameters, right? To index default value. So now you can see that default values have been changed over here, right? So this is all about that. How would you change the indexing? Very simple. Now let's move to the another part. Okay, so the another part is the ingestion of the real world data. Okay, let me write it down. It is nothing but the ingestion of the, oh, 1 minute. Yeah, it is nothing but the ingestion of the real world data. Okay, so first of all, before moving your heads anywhere, right? Before you moving your heads anywhere, Python have the library pandas through which you have data frame and series. In real world, you don't see data frame and series directly. The companies don't used to store that data like that. Companies used to have the CSV file, right? In right, so companies used to have CSV file. Now what is CSV file? In short, CSV is nothing but comma separated values file. Oh, sorry, yes, comma separated values file. Do you want to see how the CSV file used to look like? So first, to see how it look like, I will show you later on. Means we are going to download the real world wine review CSV file, remember that. So it will be amazing journey, just stay tuned on. So CSV file will be comma separated values, right? Now the if I show you how that looks like is, means you can see that there may be some value, again comma, some value comma, some value comma, right? Like, it is very clumsy thing. If I show you, then CSV file is a very clumsy file. Okay, then you have a question that why companies used to have that? Because it's memory efficient, right? It is memory efficient and it can be transformed in many ways, right? But to have it in a proper Excel sheet, right? To have it in a proper Excel sheet, what would you do? There comes your pandas, right? There comes your pandas that used to convert the normal CSV file into a proper data structure, that is data frame, right? That is data frame over here with many of the rows and columns inside it. Now rows and columns depends on the comma separated value that I will show you later on, that what that signify. But to convert a CSV file into a data frame, there comes another very beautiful syntax, that is PD. As we know that we call pandas as PD, So pd dot read csv, okay, and in braces you used to write, for example, let's say we have build coders csv file. So build coders dot csv, okay. So there is some clumsy file, you are going to make that clumsy file to a normal data frame. You will use pd.readcsv. Now let me show you how would you download a csv file on a real world data timing. So on Google, write Kaggle and Kaggle real csv wine, right? Wine. Okay, so if you click enter, then you find wine dataset over here. So click that. In wine dataset, there you see the download option over here. Okay, now I have already downloaded, but let me show you. So there are 2 to 3 options of downloading it. Let first download it by a dataset, right? We have just zipped the file. Okay, what you have to do is go into your folders. Now let me go back. So go into your download folder. There you can see the archive file. In the archive file you can see wine.csv has been already written there. Okay, if you open that file, let's say by a notepad, right? If you open that file, then let me show you how the csv, this is the clumsy file. Are you going to search through the data over here, right? It will be the proper mad thing. Okay, so what would you do is, let me extract all. Yes, so extract. So I am extracting and see, now it's working perfectly. So let me close all these things. Go to your Google Colab, do the procedure which I have done. In your file section, right, so here there is a thing like upload to session storage. Click on that. Once you click on that, go to your folder where you have stored that and open it. Okay, so yeah, so after uploading you will see something like this. Okay, now I want you to click on these 3 dots and copy path. Okay, so once copy path, let us close this. Now what I have taught you is to write pd.readcsv, because we are reading csv file, right? So we have just written that. Now just have Control V over here and your path has been copied over here. Okay, now this file is randomly right now. If you understand, then you have 2 types of memory. Okay, the one memory is nothing but your heap memory, if I tell you, and the other memory is nothing but your stack memory. So this will be the stack and this will be the heap. So right now your file is over here, but you used to call that file from the stack. Means how you used to call it's something like, you have a Disney Hotstar app, right? You have the app visible on your screen, then only you can able to call that app, right? So that app is like a stack over here, the icon. Similarly, you have to declare variable, right, to call that file. Okay, so let me show you how would you do. So let's say you have something like wine reviews file over here. Okay, so let's store that. Yes, so you have to declare the variable wine reviews, that will be the representative of whole of this csv file. Now have a pat on your back. It's really amazing that you have loaded a csv file in your computer. Now what you have to do, I want to see that really is it my file has been uploaded or not. So how would you do that? Now there is a very common way to do that is, first of all, write your file name, that is winereviews.csv. Now if you can't able to see the whole file, first of all, because the imported wine dataset contains almost 2 million individual entries. We use built-in DataFrame attributes and method to grasp its scale and preview its content without crashing our environment. Okay, means if I tell you that there are 2 million datasets in it, 2 million entries in it, so loading that in this small collab would not be possible. For that, we use for our satisfaction, what we will need, we need we want to just see that is our data frame is really there or not, is it converted or not, is that CSV file is converted into our data frame or not. For that, you will use head command, head function, sorry. So you will do, let me write it into another one. So you will do wine reviews.head. This will show you the first 5 rows, right? First 5 rows, 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So again, this is the big data set, as you can see over here, country, description, designation, all these things you will also able to see. So again, your clumsy file, let me show you your clumsy file over here, 1 minute. Let me show you your clumsy file. So your clumsy file, that is look something like this, is not now like this, it is something like this into our data frame. So this is the amazing thing, and you can able to have your satisfaction fulfill and many more things in the near future by wine reviews.head command. By using this command, you can able to view the first 5 rows in it. Now many times I want to know that, understand that you are working in a company and you don't know that how much size this file is, because you can't able to load it in your small computer. So to do that, what would you do? Wine reviews, there is another command, that is shape. Now what this command do is, this command used to calculate that how many rows are there and how many columns are there. So according to, let's now again, head is the function, shape is not the function, right? Shape is not the function. So if I run over something like this, then you can you see that there are total 11 columns over here. If I see, there are total 11 columns over here, means it's very big, and there are total 150,930, means almost 1 lakh rows over here. So that's why we have not loaded, and we can able to see that by wine reviews.shape command. Okay, now after learning all these things, there is a chances, for example, now you will remember that why I used to told you many times that you have to write this index command when you are making this data frame. You will change your default settings to product A and product B when you are making the data frame. Once you have made the data frame, means once you are importing some other people data frame, always they people used to have the indexing, as you can store, as you can see over here, the 0, 1, oh sorry, yes, as you can see over here, the 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. This indexing is already done by that company people, right? So there are 2 things, right? 2 times we are doing indexing. I don't want that. What you have to do is simply go to your CSV file, right? Just like in data frame, we used to specify things while creating data frame. So we used to specify our indexing, that what index you have to keep while importing your file and reading CSV. Again, your question arises that why we used to write some command of changing this as our default indexing, because this pd command used to read CSV. While reading CSV, I want to tell it that you have to read this indexing which has been shared by the company, and don't create your own indexing. So what you have to do is just write index column, right? Means which column you want to have as your default indexing. So for me, the default indexing column is 0, right? This unnamed column. So if I run it simply, would it work or not? Let's have a cross finger. It's working. Now let me run one more time. Bingo. Instead of having over 2 rows, 2 columns over here, now there is only 1 column. You may ask that we don't agree. Maybe there may be no column. You can't say that, as I have shown you that there are 2 columns of 0, 0, 1, 1. But then also, let's say I want column according to, basically it's not possible to have a column according to 1, because you can see that there are 3 US, right? In country there are 3 US, so it is not possible to have a unique identification. If I run, let me see. Okay, it's running now. See, let's see what's happened. So see, now US is our default indexing, the country is our now indexing, but we will never do. We used to have this default indexing given by the company, given by the one who have made the CSV file. He is very intelligent, so by respecting his intelligence, we will used to have this. So while making data frame, we will use this command of index, and while reading CSV file, I suggest you to have index column equals to 0 like thing over there. Now let's move to the final workflow which I have promised you over the time. So let me show you that. First of all, you have to do importing work, right? Import pandas as pd, right? Then we will read our file. So let's say we are making data frame from the CSV file. So pd dot read CSV, and we will suggest what the file is. So file is file.csv. Okay, and again in every CSV, let me write it properly, file.csv, and in every CSV file they used to have their own indexing column. If there is don't have, then you don't have to write this, but if they have, write it like this, index column. Then you have to, if you want to know that will it really appearing or not, so write df.head. And if you want to know that how much bigger it is, right, how much bigger the data frame is, so you will write df dot shape over here, right? And shape is not a functionality, let me tell you one more time. So it will have the rows. For example, in that we have something like 1 lakh rows and 11 columns. So this is the whole summary that what we have done in today's lecture. It is a little bit bigger, but let me tell you, the sessions will be bigger if you are staying till here. I am giving you assurance that you will definitely not stuck anywhere. If your basics and fundamentals are clear, if you are injecting time in your fundamentals, then you will definitely not going to miss this. Your time will gonna to fruit you in the near future. So this is all from my side. Thank you, and I want you to like, subscribe and comment and share it with your friends if you like the lecture. So thank you everyone. We'll meet you soon in our next lecture, that is Data Frames and Series video lecture 3. Thank you.